not addressing that, because many Arab governments work on the basis of aftermath security or aftermath work. They wait until a disaster happens in countries like Egypt, where I originally come from, and then they start moving. And when they start moving, it is very, very late. Inflammation increased with the rise of extremist groups in the 1970s and afterwards. And the question is quite timely because many Islamist movements are coming to power nowadays. And the question is, what are the rights and what are the challenges of the minorities, which again is not a disgraceful term or anything, under these movements when they come to power. Aspects of this problem is, one, there is archaic laws that are still in force in places like Egypt and many Arab countries. In 1856, the Ottoman emperor issued something called the Hammayunian line, in which he allowed he did not allow non-Muslims to build their houses of worship except with the permission from the Sultan or the Caliph himself. After the abolition of the Caliphate, this moved to the president. In a bureaucratic country, it is impossible to get a permission from a president for a small community to build their houses of worship. When we see the Muslim majority are able to build their mosques, this creates an atmosphere of upset and depression. Media dishonesty, which works on fanning the flames of the problem. Political interference from the external and foreign countries.
Could you come to a close, please?
Yes. And also, and this is a very important point I want to make, that when we speak about Arab governments protecting the rights of the minorities, this should be sorted out by Arab governments, shouldn't be forced upon them.
Okay. All right, Ahmed, Saad, thank you very much indeed. So you think they're going to come to this realization that they have to do something about minorities by themselves?
They have to.
Without any pressure. What do you mean they have to? They haven't for decades. What's going to make them? What are you waiting for, an act of God?
We don't have Arab governments at the moment in many countries. Let's form the governments first, build a house, and then think about furniture.
But this isn't a new problem. It isn't one that's come just in the last year.
Well, but
this is something that the Pope, something that the Pope spoke about last January.
People have been suffering for the past 50 years, and there was no talk about minorities anyway. Everyone was suffering, so everyone was in the same boat.
But it's Christians who've been leaving. It's Christians who are leaving the Middle East in droves.
Well, no, Muslims have been leaving as well.
And the present Archbishop of Canterbury said that it was possibly the worst situation they were facing for centuries. But you disagree with him?
Not that I disagree with him. So many Muslims have had to flee their countries and go as asylum seekers and refugees because of the dictatorships in the Arab world.
You're on the side that says Arab governments should take urgent measures to protect minorities. Yes, what kind of protection should they offer?
They should look into the laws that are there and try to reconcile that. And they should put, if we're talking about...
Sounds very vague. Look into the laws, reconcile this.
Well, building a civil
these are
state.
Concrete, urgent problems that people are facing.
Yes. Yes,
death and destruction.
Well, looking at the laws and issuing decrees and issuing...
Sounds a bit vague. It's not much of a comfort to these people, is it?
Well, let them get us their production, and then we can see if it's vague.
You don't seem to have much of a sense of urgency about this.
No, I do. I'm saying just have the governments formed, and then they start right away. This is a very pressing issue.
All right, Ahmed Saad, thank you very much indeed.
Now.
Okay, could I now please ask Roger Bismuth to speak against the motion?
Well, as you asked before, I try to be very precise. Speaking about all the world, you have different countries with different regimes, and they cannot take the same measure. If you have a dictatorship, then it's nothing to do and talk with him, and you cannot against. Many other countries now are trying to become democracy. And this must be held because, contrary to what I said earlier, I don't believe in real personal protection. I believe in legislation. Any country who becomes independent and tries to become a democracy must, first of all, because I look not on the short term, I look only at the long term. I think, first of all, we must give a very good education to the children about this fact. Because right now, the children are given a bad education. If they are told the truth, that all religions are different, but they are, in a way, all the same, so they must give it a good education, and then the state must have a very clear constitution, and the people who fail to respect the constitution must be taken to justice. That's the point. There's no discussion about that. So, protect the people themselves, it's impossible because the minorities are not living in one place in the country. They are all over the country. How can you protect thousands of people all around the country with their factories, their offices, their homes, and their children going to school and all that? It's impossible to protect. So I think it's little useless to speak about personal protection equipment. So only I believe in the law.
Okay.
That's the only thing to do.
Roger Bismuth, thank you very much indeed. You say you believe in legislation, you say you believe in education. A little while ago, when a group of people appeared on the streets of Tunis and shouted death to Jews,
yes,
you didn't believe in legislation then. You went straight to the government and said you have to do something about it.
I put complaint in the state.
You asked an Arab government to